My name is Gunny Harris again, and this is my informative speech on the Battle of Tarawa. Okay, what is the significance of Battle of Tarawa? So the Battle of Tarawa was a part of the World War II campaign in the Central Pacific against the Japanese by seizing heavily fortified Japanese-held island in Berto Tarawa, an atoll in the Gilbert Islands. The 18,000 Marines sent to the tiny atoll were expected to easily secure it. However, problems quickly arose. Low tides prevented some of the U.S. landing crafts from clearing the coral reefs that surrounded the island. The Japanese coastal guns pounded and snagged vessels and desperate Marines gave up, freeing the boats and leaving much gear, and they had to wade to the shore, hundreds of yards away, through chest-deep water amidst enemy fire. Despite the heavy resistance of 45,000 Japanese soldiers around the Beito Island, the Marines finally took this island with intense fighting for 76 hours. They suffered heavy casualties and had very low morale by the end of the fight, but they eventually pulled through. So the topic we're going to talk about is the Battle of Tarawa and the significant impact it has on the Marine Corps. So the justification for this: the Japanese had become dominant in the Pacific by taking over the Philippines, China, Korea, Okinawa, and were heavy adversaries to anyone that stood in their way. Beito Tarawa was seen as a very valuable piece of land because it was basically the footstep into the Central Pacific and allowed the Marines and all the Allied forces to further have combat action against the Japanese. Also, what was significant about this is we began to use new forms of technology, combined arms, Amtracs, and also water survival became a key component within the Marine Corps training and become the standard that we know today. To fully understand its impact, we have to look at the battle and its significance. Okay, the Battle of Tarawa. Why was it valuable? Well, the Beito Island is an island, so it's surrounded by coral reefs. So the hydro survey was not done properly because it was still a new technology, not like how it is today. You send out your scout swimmers and you have your RNS teams that go out and do the hydro survey to the depth before you can do an assault. Back then, they didn't have that kind of technology. So the coral reefs prevented the new technology called Amtracs, which was a vessel that took 20 men, it was manned by machine guns, to shore. But the low tides prevented the Amtracs to get over the coral reefs, and that snagged them. So the Marines were left with one notion to do, which was get out and wade towards the beachhead. Now, this didn't go so well because their gear became waterlogged. They didn't have it waterproof as we do it today. The radios were waterproof, so they became rendered useless, and they were pinned down by serious heavy Japanese fire. Now, Tarawa was the most fortified beachhead in the Pacific, the absolute most fortified. It was defended by pillboxes, it had seawalls, it had trench systems with interlocking fire that created multiple target areas of interest and just pinned down the coalition forces that were coming through. It even had an airfield, so not only were they dealing with indirect fire and direct fire, they were dealing with airstrikes as well. Accurate and timely mortar fire delayed and demoralized the decimated units that were coming ashore, because you can imagine wading through water and seeing bodies all around you just getting torn up by small and heavy machine gun fire. Anti-aircraft guns, like tanks and heavy light machine guns, defended by 45,000 troops. So the implication of this. So up until this time, we never used combined arms. So what combined arms essentially is, you have naval gunfire, which was the amphibious ARG that was out there. You have the air, which was did the preparatory fires that we use today, and then we didn't have any ground-based fires yet, so we had to ship that ashore. So once we learned to ship the mortars and artillery ashore, that's when things got better. But this was the initial phase for combined arms. The Amtracs were a new piece of gear that we used to move from ship to shore. So that became a significant part of how we do business in the Marine Corps today. Waterproofing the gear. If you go back to boot camp, you learn to waterproof your gear. Well, that became a common standard operating procedure because of this conflict. As I said before, gear was lost, radios were rendered useless because they were soaked, weapons became rusted out, you name it, everything went bad with that. And also, water survival became an integral part of the just basic Marine Corps training. As you said before, going to boot camp, we get water survival skills that go from basic to advanced. So in conclusion, The significance of this battle was essentially how the Marine Corps fights today. That is the major significance of this battle. And the first one we have is combined arms, which is a common and vital practice used by commanders today. The Amtracs, which is a very strategic logistical vessel that moves from the ship to shore movement. Waterproofing of gear, which is essential in basic water survival and just marine survival period when going into the field or a field craft. And also it changed the way boot camp does this business, going from a basic water survival to an advanced water survival type of training. And this was mandatory in all fleet Marines. So that concludes my speech.